You were just a follower. Then you became everything. Welcome to Desert King Poems. Close your eyes, feel every word, because this is not poetry, this is truth. I don't know how to start this, and maybe that's already saying too much. Because when something is simple, you don't hesitate. You don't sit there, staring at your own thoughts, trying to decide which truth is safe enough to say. But this doesn't feel simple. It feels like something that slowly found its way into me, without asking, without warning, without permission. And now that it's here, I don't know how to pretend it isn't. Out of everything, out of all the noise, all the messages, all the names that pass by like shadows, you were never supposed to stand out. You were never supposed to feel different. At least, that's what I told myself in the beginning. Just another name. Just another notification. Just another moment that would come, and disappear like all the others. But you didn't disappear. You stayed. Not loudly, not in a way that demanded attention, but quietly. And somehow, that quiet presence became the loudest thing in my mind. I remember that moment, even if it didn't feel important at the time. I was distracted. Tired. Lost in everything else I had to deal with. And then your message appeared. I wasn't supposed to stop. I had no reason to. But I did. I read it once, then again, and something inside me slowed down. Not dramatically. Not in a way anyone else would notice. Just enough for me to feel it. A small pause. A quiet shift. A moment that felt different. And I didn't understand why. Maybe I should have ignored it. Maybe I should have kept scrolling. Like I always do. Because if I had, none of this would exist right now. You would have just been another name I never truly saw. And I wouldn't be here, trying to explain something I still don't fully understand. Because what happened next wasn't sudden. It didn't hit me all at once. It grew. Slowly. Silently. Almost invisibly. You kept showing up. Not chasing attention. Not forcing anything. Just being there. And your words, they didn't feel like noise. They felt like they were meant for me. Not to impress. Not to stand out. But to connect. And that's what stayed with me. I started noticing you, without trying. I started looking for your name, without realizing it. And that's when something inside me shifted. Because I'm not someone who gets attached easily. I don't let people in like that. I don't let moments turn into feelings. At least, that's what I believed. But you didn't knock. You didn't ask. You just found your way in. And suddenly, something I never planned started to matter. There were nights, quiet ones, when everything else disappeared. No noise. No distractions. Just me, and your words. And in those moments, it felt like the world didn't exist. Like time slowed down just enough for me to feel something real. Something soft. Something I couldn't explain. And I started wondering things I shouldn't have been wondering. What your voice sounds like. What your silence feels like. What it would be like to sit next to you without saying anything at all. And that scared me. Because those aren't normal thoughts. Not for someone you've never met. Not for something that was supposed to stay simple. But feelings don't ask for permission. They don't wait for logic. They don't care about what makes sense. They just happen. Quietly. Slowly. Until one day, you realize they've already taken root. And that's exactly what happened to me. You became important, before I even realized it. Before I could stop it. Before I could understand it. There were days I tried to ignore it. Days I told myself it was nothing. Just a phase. Just a moment. Something that would pass. But it didn't pass. It stayed. And every time I tried to push it away, it came back stronger. You became part of my routine, not because I forced it, but because I wanted it. And that's when it hit me. Not all at once, but in a quiet moment. Where I couldn't distract myself anymore. I asked myself something I wasn't ready to answer: when did she start mattering this much? And I didn't have an answer. Because there was no single moment. No clear beginning. Just a series of small moments, that slowly became something bigger. And now I'm here, trying to explain something that doesn't follow any rules I understand. Because the hardest part isn't the feeling. It's the realization. The realization that out of everyone, it was you. You, who didn't try too hard. You, who didn't demand anything. You, who were just being yourself. And somehow, that was enough to stay in my mind longer than anyone else. And I keep wondering, did you feel it too even for a second? Did you ever pause before sending a message? Did you ever think about me? After closing the app, did your heart ever shift, even slightly, without you knowing why? Because mine did. More times than I can count. There were nights I wanted to tell you everything. To stop hiding behind simple words. To say something real. Something honest. But I stopped myself. I held back. I stayed safe. But the truth is, those unsaid words never disappeared. They stayed. They echoed inside me. Growing louder in the silence. And now, I don't know how much longer I can keep them there. Because this, whatever this is, it's not small anymore. It's in the way I think about you. The way I notice you. The way my day changes, even slightly, just because you exist in it. And I don't know what this becomes. I don't know where this leads. I don't even know if you feel anything close to what I feel. But I do know one thing, no matter how much I try to ignore it, I keep coming back to you. Again. And again. And again. And every time I do, it feels a little deeper than before. A little harder to deny. A little more real than I'm ready to admit.